online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome into another AfterBuzzTV.com after show for Secrets and Wives. The second one, episode number 2. This is Weekend at Gurney's we are talking about today. I'm Bobby DeMuro. Joining me, Phil, Svitek, April,
hello,
Whisenhant,
ladies and gentlemen,
and Nicole Brajer.
Hey guys.
Ladies, welcome. Phil and I held it down last week. I think we embarrassed ourselves, but we're glad to have you two today.
You definitely needed a female perspective.
A little girl
there was just so many things going on. I was sitting there watching you guys like, wow, really? These men are talking about prom dresses and they think they actually know what they're talking about.
Did you like the prom dress? Was that a prom dress or not?
It was a Long Island prom dress.
She has a very valid point.
It was not
a prom dress. It was just funky.
Women on Long Island do not dress like women in New York City. Do you know what I mean? Like women in Long Island don't dress like women in LA. Would you agree?
Exactly.
It's just they're a little more out
they like
there.
Patterns.
But could we agree that I had a certain standard and I was trying to have them live up to that standard, and so I disagreed with that?
No, I got your point a little bit on like you prefer a solid palette versus a floral design. I guess I got that.
There you go.
But I mean,
no patterns
it was
for
funny.
Phil.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
So scale of 1 to 10, how badly do we embarrass ourselves?
A 7.
Oh.
No,
I would say
like
a 5. Like you were funny and honest and a little ridiculous all at the same
Before we
time.
fully dive in, can we hear Bobby's mic? You sure we got it, Jonathan? We're good? I don't know, he sounds a little boomy to me, but we'll just go with it.
We'll go with it. All right, hey, before we get started, real quick for you guys.
I swear to God, I don't know if you're plugged in or not. Just keep going. Talk my mic.
The producer's just doing his job.
Right.
This is why you can't have me on the show.
Seriously. Real quick for you guys at home. Hit subscribe on YouTube and iTunes if you haven't already. And podcast1.com, you guys can review us on podcast1.com. You can review this show, any AfterBuzz show we do there. We want to hear from you guys there and what you think about it. What's wrong, Phil?
We'll take it from the top. Let me,
All right.
Hold on. I know. If I'm going to do a show, I want to make sure it's perfect.
I thought he sounded fine.
I did hear you a second ago.
Hold on. Check. Check. All right. Yeah, much better. All right. Keep the stream going and just start it up, and then we'll clip the
Let's do this
front.
again.
Yeah. There we go. All good.
Sound checks, man.
We gotta have a good show.
Just got weird.
If I'm gonna do a show, I gotta have a good show.
I'm
Hey, take
sweating
2.
right now. I'm so hot.
Don't insult us.
No, it was a good insult.
Yeah, you have no idea how many edits it took.
Talk about that for sure.
All right, go ahead, talking it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, welcome into the AfterBuzzTV.com after show for Secrets and Wives. This is episode 2, Weekend at Gurney's. I'm your host, Bobby DeMuro. Joining me again is Phil Svitek, and
welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Brand new, lovely ladies are joining us the rest of the way. April Whisenhant.
Hi.
And Nicole Brajer.
Hey guys, good to be back at AfterBuzz TV.
Ladies, I'm going to ask you two first because Phil and I held it down last week. We were brilliant. What did you think of the show, though? Not the after show. We know it was perfect. What about the show?
I really liked it. It's a different kind of format than a lot of other Bravo shows because they know each other. So I like the dynamic of the ladies.
I went to school on Long Island and I see these ladies and I've seen these ladies in the Hamptons. I've served them. I'm in that industry. So, I mean,
I'm telling you, we have an
extra. When I hear the word Montauk, that's what I think. Blonde, plastic surgery, boobs, tan, and then the way that they talk, like Montauk, and we're going to Gurney's and all that. Like, it's just really funny.
I have an
brings
important
back some
question.
good memories.
Nicole, important question for you. Are you North Shore or South Shore?
South Shore, all the way. Yeah.
So you want
Susan.
I like the working girl, I do, but Susan, yeah, we'll get to Susan. But I mean, she reminds me of the Mob Wives, and my AfterBuzz TV show is Mob Wives, and I just really like the down and dirty girls. I relate to them a little bit more. The blondes, and they just remind me of like OC Housewives a little bit. But there's people on Twitter saying this is a combination of Jersey Housewives and OC Housewives.
100%.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, hey, social media stuff, guys, if you are new to AfterBuzz, this is the second Secret and Wives. I think a lot of people probably watch a few of these shows, but if you're new, if you're watching on YouTube, we are live streaming right now. Nicole, you're on it, right? So we can.
Yeah, I'm on the live
She can
stream.
read those comments if you guys want to talk to us. We'll read the best ones on the air. You can hit subscribe on YouTube and iTunes, please. You can always review us on iTunes, and we got something special for you guys before we jump in. Podcast1.com. You guys can review us there, as if there's not enough places to give us feedback. If you like the show, you like the format, you like us, whatever, you can tell us your thoughts there about this show or really anything AfterBuzz does. So podcast1.com. Let's jump in, guys. The biggest story, I think we kind of all agree, the biggest story is Susan versus Liza. Thunderdome. Susan put her foot in her mouth, but in her defense, Liza's a little iffy about it too. That nobody won this fight today, right? This is a power struggle.
No, they didn't, and it's one of those things that Susan's not wrong, and Liza's trying to just tippy-toe around the fact that, like, I get it. If you're moving, it is a big change to move from your house. The problem is, just admit that there's a certain lifestyle you want to carry on. And just admit that.
But sometimes when women get divorced and leave their husbands and you have this great relationship, and even though she's the one that screwed it up, it's hard to let go, and that house reminds her of all the things that she's lost. So that is the last thing that she has to hold on to her defense. I understand Susan's point with the materialistic reference and how you guys last week were talking about, she's got to get over it. She's the one that cheated. This guy pays her way through life. Totally get that. But that's all she has left throughout that whole however long she was with that man. But
But start new, and in that way rebuild your life and look at it like, okay, I did make that mistake, but also that house brings back bad memories.
No, I totally agree.
I'm so happy Phil is doing this show.
I
It makes me
right?
smile every time.
It's great.
I think she should definitely move on, of course, but it's not. She said it best. She's like, this is still my life. Like, you can't judge me. So it doesn't matter that, Susan thinks this or she should do this. She should move on, but it's still tough for her. So it's not fair that other people are kind of just throwing in their judgments because they think that's what she should do. She's like, this is still my life. I know people have it worse than me, but I mean, it's tough. Moving on from a house is tough. I don't know if y'all have ever moved, but when we moved from my
I moved
childhood
7
home,
times. I have no sympathies for her.
My mom lost her house. We moved out of our house. My parents split up. She went back to the Bronx. My dad went back down the shore. And my mom is like, she calls the house the mansion. She's like, I miss the mansion. And like, so she misses that because that was a big part of her life. So that's why I kind of felt for Liza.
Is it doubly hard on Liza because she was the one who screwed up? It's one thing to move on if the husband cheated, but she knows she messed up. And I don't know, their relationship, I don't know if we'll ever dive into the ex-husband and their relationship, but she still screwed up her lifestyle doing that. So is it doubly hard on her to say, crap.
But
I
did
gotta
she
own
screw
this.
it up because she's got it? I mean, how long is she going to get money from him? Forever?
Oh no, I just
Right.
mean screw up. Like she could have been going in free and clear in that house forever, and she's the one who cheated. You know.
Yeah.
So, and I know I'm sure
Right.
it was more complicated than just cheating. We can't blow her up on it too badly. We did kind of last week.
Well, she's kind of a sexually outlandish person. I mean, she's very open about how. I mean, she did say like she hasn't had sex for a long time. She hasn't been with anybody in a long time. But
Do you believe that?
I don't think so. I guess not
No.
because she's so open about sexual. She has a lot of sexual references.
And I feel like the more you say that, like, oh, I haven't been with anybody. I don't have a boyfriend. There's somebody there.
I feel like
You're getting
Andy
something.
kept trying to bump in too and be like, well, no, but then she would just talk over her. So I don't believe her. I feel like she's definitely had something.
But Andy was definitely acting as her lawyer. I mean, when they were ganging up on Susan a bit, and Andy was talking for her, I totally agreed with Susan's like, speak for yourself. I mean, especially with what she's going through, she's got to be more like independent and strong and like know how to speak for herself.
Yeah.
Because that's what women have to do when they go through.
But
I think
A
that
ch-
Andy was
a chain
inverting
of
her
events.
own fault in all of this.
Yeah.
Because she.
Andy's gonna definitely suffer, I think, in this season because she just keeps chatting with everybody. But it seems like at the end of the day, I feel like she's the most loyal to Liza. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But Andy's also the one. Did you catch the shade Liza threw at her? I believe it was Liza who said, we've all married up or had divorces or whatever. Andy's been divorced 3 times. She's gotten less each time, and she's married down each time.
Corey
Oh my
who said
God.
that.
Was that Corey?
Yeah, Corey's like the narrator.
Info, yeah.
Okay.
To me, she's like narrating a lot of this because I feel like she's been friends with all of them. I don't know. To me, that's how she's coming off. She's got the most facts, it seems, about
Definitely.
everybody.
Andy definitely, in that conversation that we see, they flash back from last week, she definitely said, Liza wants to keep her lifestyle the same, or however she worded it. And she just kind of skipped over whenever Susan was like, well, she said she wants to find a man that has that much money. And then she's kind of like, no, I didn't say that, but what? And changed the subject. So she's kind of
It's
negating
a
her fault.
cold-blooded fact. Why did she have to deny it?
Exactly.
They all live like that. It's no secret. Secrets and wives. Like, it's no secret that they all, like, ride off men.
And
Sorry.
is it better for the 5 of them who live off men effectively, or Susan who can't fucking stop talking about working?
That's the one thing. She's at Susan, I really like you. You're my girl, but like say your piece and stand your ground because if
Yeah.
you keep saying it, then they're gonna resent you for it. Like,
And if you-
and just own it. Just be the independent one of the group. Be the brunette of the group, and just keep your
when
mouth shut.
And be the South Shore one, and when you keep
Yeah.
saying your piece, every time you say it, you lose power with it. Say it
Yes.
once, let it be out there. Susan's my favorite, besides Jonathan and Max. We talked about it last week. Susan's my favorite one of the girls. Own it, man. You're the toughest one. And if the physical fight came down, my money's on Susan. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah,
guys.
totally. Morning runs every day. Look at her
100%.
husband. If she's got to keep up sexually with him, she's got to be strong.
And her husband was in prison for
The
2.5
big dude,
years.
exactly.
So I'm sure he's taught her some of the prison
Yeah.
moves.
She seems like she seems like
I would say for Susan, she just
Fighting, not sex.
Yeah.
she needs to adopt a different way of saying it, right? You can't say it directly in that way. Like if someone's not getting the lesson, you got to figure out a different way to say it.
And whenever you keep reminding people like I have a job, it's you're talking down to them, so it's almost like you're demeaning that they don't, and it's gonna be, of course, everyone's gonna take it as being offensive.
I look at it.
it's annoying.
I look
Yeah.
at it the other way too, like her saying, I have a job, especially what we learned from her in exposition last week about from the South Shore, made it herself. She's so insecure about that.
I think so too.
She definitely has a soft spot where she's insecure.
Yeah.
It's like she you could tell that there's some confidence there, but when the two of Andy and Liza were going at her, she kind of fell back and she wanted to go upstairs, and you can just tell there's something there that's not secure.
Right.
I wonder why. I mean, I know that she was getting ganged up on by Andy and Liza, but it's interesting to see she only repeated her points at that dinner. She didn't come back over the top. She didn't pull like a Teresa Giudice in New Jersey and flip a table
But
or something.
that's good. That's why we should like her.
And that still may come, but she was level-headed enough. One of the things I like about Susan is she tells it like it is, or that's what it seems like.
Right.
And
They don't like that though because they don't do that.
Exactly, but she held her ground. She could have gone over the top and gone crazy, and she didn't. And I'm trying to figure out if I respect her more because she didn't, or if I had wished she had.
At this point in time, I respect her more because it wasn't anything that was worth kind of getting to that point over. But I'm sure she definitely has that side of her.
For sure. And Jonathan's got her back, right? That's the other thing. If the wives get into fights, the husbands have to get into fights. Not necessarily physical, but there's going to be rivalries. Who's going to come to Jonathan? Sandy's not. Dr. G's not going anywhere. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. Right?
Oh my God, what a sucker Dr. G is, though. Sit down, you sit down. Oh my God. Like, no, he should have manned up and been like, no, I'm going to go with the boys. You sit here. That's something we got to figure out.
We need to talk about Dr. G real quick before that, guys. There's something cool coming up this summer on ABC. Flashback to the 1960s when America is racing to send a man into space and 7 elite pilots become the country's first astronauts. As these men became heroes, their wives... Secrets and Wives, rocketed to stardom. Based on the best-selling book, this is the story of the first ladies in space. Through triumph and tragedy, they forged a friendship that lasted over 50 years. The Astronauts Wives Club premieres Thursday, June 18th on ABC. I don't know what you guys know about that time period in history. Fascinating time period. It's going to
be amazing.
The Secrets and Wives don't know anything about that time period. I can say that much. So they definitely should be watching as well.
June 18th. I cannot wait for that show. There's a lot of good books about that kind of era, and this show I think is going to wrap it up pretty good. So, ABC.
Hopefully, it teaches the current wives in this generation something about class. But I feel like we're going to see some scandal in this astronauts.
Sure. But like
wives.
that scandal is like husbands going into space, like risking their lives. This scandal is like, complaining about selling your home.
Right.
Here's the point. I want to go back to the point about the husbands, because I really feel like, I don't know, from my experience, or from what I've seen, I think the husbands would just laugh and be like, hey, you guys have at it. I don't know what you're fighting about, what your deal is. I'm not getting involved. You guys have fun.
But then why did Dr. G sit there the whole time and listen to it? He almost liked it. And then you were like, oh, you got a beer. So he's sitting there like chiming in almost.
I don't think he cares. I think he, half the time he was on his cell phone, and I think half the time he was like, okay, boob job there. Okay, I'll make suggestions after dinner.
I agree with you, but there comes a point with all these husbands, especially guys like Jonathan who are portrayed as so sex hungry anyways. For better or worse, man, they're kind of dogs at times, and they need to back up their wives, not just for the physical aspect, but they're married to these people, right? So if Susan and, Gail get really into it, Dr. G and Jonathan may not come to a physical fight, but they're going to have to draw a line and say, hey, at some point this stops being fun, and I have to defend my wife a little bit.
Right. What do you think of Susan and Gail, though? Can we talk about that real quick?
About tits on a stick?
Like Soul Cycle scene? That was just too much. Because it seems like Susan has her thing with Liza, and Susan has her thing with Gail. And I think when it comes to Gail, she wants to help Liza and have her see that change can be good. But with Gail, it's like she almost is envious of her lifestyle and how she has had successful 2 husbands, like with money, and like how come this woman can get that? I don't know. That's the vibe I get off of Susan when she's with Gail, and she just wants to take a step ahead of her because she thinks she's better than her because of all the work that she's done for herself. Yeah. And Gail hasn't done shit. Oops,
no, say it. We swear on to say it, man.
I will give credit to Gail because she had the husband's back pat, and stuff like that. And so when your husband works that much, if you can support his lifestyle and whatever else and be that way, and for lack of a better term, and I know this could be offensive, almost be like a secretary in his lifestyle. Mm-hmm. I think that's fine, and so in return she wants to spend time with him. I don't see a problem with it. Go Gail.
But I think there are lines to be drawn. I mean, look, having him come to whatever, having the girls come to his plastic surgery thing is one thing. You can't have him come to ladies' dinner.
Yeah, no, that shouldn't happen.
And not only
could that have been planned though?
Oh, for sure. But for him,
but he did try to get away from me. He's like, I'm going to go over there. She's like, no, you sit.
And
she was like serious.
The second that he says, I'm going to go over there, she needs to be like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah, then she would be real cool. Then I think I would really like her. But right now, Gail, you gotta impress me a little bit more.
I can't get a feel on her. I feel like we have a real good feel on Liza, Susan, Amy, and then we don't have as good a feel on Andi, Gail, and Cori. So we need those stories to develop a little bit more.
Definitely.
And I guess Cori did today. We'll talk about her in a second. But
I can see why Gail could be a badass, though. Yeah. I could see that, but I don't know. She's just too cold. And she needs to open up a little bit more. I want to see her cry. I want to see her get angry. I want to see her laugh Like she doesn't laugh.
That takes real emotion. There's not a lot of realness left.
I see her in a weird way. I see her as like a Kris Jenner type, which may not make sense in a lot of ways, but has to be in control, really like down to the minute, like packing her husband's bags and stuff. She knows that he's going to be late. She knows that this stuff has to get done for us to go. She's got to plan everything. She's kind of been portrayed as type A. So I could see if she falls off the rails or has an issue in a show, it's going to be because she loses control of something or doesn't have control of something she thinks she should have control of. And when something comes up, she's going to flip out. Yeah. I think that's one thing we're going to see from her.
She's too uptight. I think when she's going to lose control is because she's so obsessed with how she appears and what everyone else thinks about how she should appear.
Right, because she
mentioned that. So I think it's
going
to get messed up at some point. Maybe Susan, I don't know what will happen, but I think that's when she'll lose her cool. But even then, I feel like she'll still just be like, hey, because she's so just
She definitely has
stiff.
a schedule.
Yeah.
And she can't break it. Because then if she does, she's going to break this person who she is for him.
Mm-hmm. And she's the one who goes to the Gurneys, to Weekend at Gurney's, and doesn't have a bite of mac and cheese.
Oh, that killed me.
Who doesn't like cheese?
Oh, that killed me. She can afford to. She's so tiny. Like, what's the problem? That scares me a little bit.
Her hashtag is tits on a stick now.
They said it. So
they
great.
said it.
Sorry, I need to look that up.
We're going to do it. She follows me on Twitter, so Gail, if you're watching this, you are now hashtag tits on a stick. Not mine. One of your friends said it. It seems like everything so far funnels through Susan. And part of that is the South Shore, the insecurity, all this stuff. But Susan and Amy, they had that confrontation in the car about Arthur. Susan and Liza, obviously. Susan and Gail. We'll see Susan and Cori and whatever. She's the catalyst for all this. The other five, if it were them alone, would be whatever. She's the star.
Wow.
I'm
I think Liza's the star.
I kind of thought Liza was the star too. This week I feel like Susan was a little more.
But no, I agree with you on that though, because without her, like, what would we really have at the moment? I'm not really sure. She is the odd man out too, and that's what makes her special.
And no Susan, no Jonathan, and you guys, Jonathan I'm sorry.
Jonathan's great. I would sit down and smoke a cigar with him and drink like Sambuca with him and literally laugh my butt off.
There's like, of all the greatest reality TV personalities down throughout history, Puck from The Real World, remember him? And then Jonathan, boom, right there. He's 2 episodes in, he's my guy. Talking about sex that much.
And McDonald's. Yeah. That was the romantic times.
That was hilarious.
Whatever floats your boat. I mean, I like
just got out of
McDonald's
prison, I guess. Who wouldn't stop at a McDonald's if you were that... that's pretty necessary
horny.
After 2.5 years.
Horny, hungry. Why not? Kill 3 birds with one stone. Sex, McDonald's, and I don't know what the last one. And romance.
He's so romantic. He's like a 10 on the romance scale.
I love how she says that and he goes, yeah? He's my guy. I love him so much. Jonathan, if you're out there, come in on the show.
He is out there.
If he's watching. Is he out there? Okay.
Is he real?
Gail and Dr. G, obviously, another storyline in this thing is Truth and Beauty, our spa.
Lies and secrets, beauty.
lies and superficiality and anal cream, whatever that was about.
Yeah. Only 7 in a year.
So we get a business lesson today, and that is that every business starts at 0. Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So they're up to 2,500 customers, which is better than 0.
Yes.
We see in the previews, of course, it may not last the year. We know that they're
Which,
not.
by the way, it's not bad
there.
if there's the frequency, right? If you can't have the quantity, then you need the frequency. So to be fair,
for sure, and it matters how much people are paying for. If you're buying $8 a pop, that's not a lot. If you're buying cars, depending on what you're selling, but they're selling anal cream, right?
Is that all we're selling?
In Soul Cycle.
I saw some lipstick in there.
I'm not really sure what the place is, to be honest. Like, I feel bad because she mentioned, Cori, that they wanted to build this business to have more money with whatever money they had. And I just think they didn't think it through very well. They just created this random, like, cosmetic / sex store, it sounds like. And because the creams are this or that. Like, it's a really bad times. People don't have money for that crap. And, like, even if you do live in North Shore, who is coming to Truth and Beauty? They're going to Soul Cycle. Like, they want to spend their money getting fit, not on anal cream or whatever it is in that store.
Speak for yourself. But I do like it, and it happened in the Truth and Beauty scene. It happened in the dinner we just talked about, but I think we should hit both because they're connected.
Okay.
I like that they acknowledge the financial crimes and the downturn and Wall Street and all that. And we'll see how deep they go into it. But I like they do it with Jonathan. I like that they acknowledge that he, quote, fucking stole from people.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And worked for the Wolf of Wall Street. That's
Exactly.
crazy. I didn't
Well,
know
that's
that.
all Long Island.
And then I really like, even with Sandy saying I worked there for 30 years and then the mercantile exchange went digital and I'm out of a job. It just gives us an insight not only into what these people do in the most basic sense, but how this has affected them, because this affected the whole country very specifically, region to region. These are the guys who did it. And so we get to see them a little bit, and they're not just shying away. They're not just like, oh, we used to work on Wall Street.
Right.
They get a little bit into it. You know, they're not going to go real deep, and I don't think they owe us that, but I like that they at least get a little bit into it. And we see it with like Sandy, who now cannot stay away from Truth and Beauty. God bless him. He's ruining the place.
I feel bad for him.
I do too.
I feel bad for both of them. They made a stupid business decision. They
Oh,
really did. They
never-
could have done so many other things with that money, and you come up with this.
Never
not good.
ever mix relationships and business.
Yeah, no.
agree.
Every couple that I know, or my parents' friends, and my friends' parents are divorced because of that kind of stuff. So, which is a popular thing these days.
Well, Corey threatened to stab him, so we're on a good, off to a good start.
Yeah, I'm
Couple
not, there's
out at
hope
the
for
same time.
Corey and Sandy though, because they've been together for 20 years, and they just need to get rid of this business. They do.
And they need
I don't know how you do
They
that,
need to
though.
start providing for each other's needs. Let's put it that way.
It seems like they're on the opposite pages when it comes to that, though.
It seems like every
They
guy
are,
in the show.
She said
but it's what I love about it is that like the exchange there is just so I don't know, it works for them, right?
It's
he gets
honest.
blowjobs,
It's electric.
and
No,
then
yeah,
like
she
after
told
that,
us the secret to a long, happy marriage is blowjobs. And I have to agree with her because I think that men literally need that domination. They need that from their women. And I don't know about you, it's not my cup of tea, but I just, being with a man for even 3 years, I just know if you're not doing that, they get very upset and very pissed off because you guys just need it. Admit it.
This is Reality Hour with Nicole.
Admit it.
I
a good blowjob goes a long way.
100% agree.
Guys, I feel so bad for you. You're all having beer and but my girl blows me like 3 times a week, so I'm good. And then that one guy's sitting there like, shit. Like mine doesn't. Like, and I'm telling you, I think she made a good point, Corey. There. Now rant done.
Yeah,
And they still have chemistry for a reason. You can tell, even though they don't get along,
Yeah.
they're working together. There's still like a spark between them. So
Yeah.
it's probably because of that.
Let's just be honest, though. The guys on this show, like most guys in all of life, are like perennially 16. Like, if you know how to deal with a 16-year-old boy, once they become an adult, 40, 50, 60, doesn't matter. If you can deal with the 16-year-old, you can deal with it. Blowjobs, letting Jonathan eat when he was like at dinner. He's like, no, we're eating tonight. I don't care. I'm filling up on bread. Like, if you can deal with a 16-year-old boy, you got it made. Right?
I
It's a
guess.
good point.
It's a little tougher, but something
No.
like
Some
that.
men-
Hey,
Some
take
men-
it from a guy who acts like a 16-year-old boy. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
All right.
But I
You
feel
got
like
it
some
made.
men slow down when they get older. You know,
Not
like
Sandy.
No, I'm saying there's a couple these men on this show seem to still be good, but I mean I think that there are a good good
Sometimes-
high percentage
Maybe
of men
not
that
Dr. G.
Sometimes
We don't know, but-
there is a case of the appetite's a little bit bigger than the stomach can handle, type thing.
Yes,
For both,
That's,
for
that's
sex
exactly what I
and-
meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, the other
A
thing.
sufficient blowjob conversation.
I'm sweating. I'm like really sweating.
You guys came for the secrets and wives, stay for the blowjob talk. Next week, we talked to anal and blowjobs. Next week, we'll talk about threesomes. Okay, maybe we will. I don't know what's coming on the show next week. With the history these people have together, you never know.
Their history is pretty wacky.
But that's what makes this good. That's what you're saying. That's what makes this show really, really good. It's 2 things. It's the supporting characters, these guys that we're talking about, because the women are the women. They know what to do. So the guys have to be good. Jonathan, Max, Sandy, even Dr. G, looking good. And the second thing is these girls know each other. So the history is different than throwing, Teresa and Melissa and all these people on New Jersey and
Melissa
having them meet.
tweeted and she wrote, "Not gonna lie, liking Secrets and Wives."
Dude, it's
Yeah.
honestly the guilty pleasure of my year.
Because I feel like the most real housewives shows, in my opinion, are, just that Mob Wives, this one, Jersey, all in that same area, because they have histories, they have stories, they have family. When you watch the other ones, I mean, I guess the biggest fan base to me for those are just the people who live in that state or the people who relate to that city and see those type of women in that and the community. You know, it's just a little bit different when there's family involved, there's a history, there's jobs, there's crime. I mean, it makes it more real. It makes you want to watch more and engage more in their lives.
And look at like Orange County, and not to pick on one of them because Orange County is fun as hell, but they're just totally bringing in people every year. They're bringing in somebody. It's Megan King Edmonds now. Somebody new every year, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Just to spice them up and get them to cause more controversy.
Here's what's most interesting to me is the fact of what hits because of these because of the history, right? I mean, you would think I thought we were going to have a major blowout over the exes that everyone slept with,
right?
And it doesn't
faze them.
Yeah,
but it was so long ago though, or it seems like it was so long ago. It's like high school days.
It's kind of funny because I'll say this, like, my friends have gotten with my ex before, and at the present moment it was bad, and it upset me. But now, even just like a little bit, a couple years later, that now it's gone and it's in the past, I'm almost like, wow, it really doesn't matter because that's my ex, and have my garbage, you know, like have my, and then as you get older, it's probably so funny to look back and talk about it, but it's probably even more funny when they're back in the other person's life, and then, you know what I mean? So, and they say they have a sisterhood, so if you are, I mean, you guys said last week, sorry, I'm jumping from a bunch of things, but you guys said last week that you guys didn't think that they listened to each other, and you said that you don't think they really care about each other. Really?
No, the listening and the caring are different. They don't listen to each other because this is a bad habit that too many people have, including all of us sometimes.
I agreed with you on that point, but I think that they care about it. Like, some of them do deeply care about each other because they've been friends since high school. Like, that would... But
the
because
point
of
is, I can care about
lifestyle,
you, right? But you know, if I don't really listen to what you're saying first and foremost, and then really get down to what you actually are saying, right? There's text and subtext. How am I going to fix you? Every one of these women has a preconceived notion of how to help the other one.
Yeah,
and it doesn't hit.
Because they're also
their
independent.
lifestyle.
I mean, they're all. It's like Andi said whenever she was talking about Susan asked her, "Why don't you give Amy better advice on Arthur and la la la," and she's like, I can only say so much. She has to live through it herself.
Which I agree with.
That was the best advice of the first 2 episodes.
No, the best advice was Jonathan whenever he told Susan to just sit back and get along, be nice and get along.
Yeah, but
with
that wasn't
everybody.
going to happen.
I know.
The best real advice was Andi giving Amy that advice, saying you have to find it. You have to find the. That's exactly right. As frustrating as Amy's going to be, she's got to figure it out herself.
It's never going to work any other way.
Amy is the most normal looking one of the bunch, but she's just got like the most issues, it seems, personally. Like, you kept saying the whole episode, you're like, she's just making up excuses. She's just making
and that
excuses.
is not my voice. I sound like a manly man.
Right.
I don't understand. I don't understand what is going on with Amy and Arthur. What are the issues there? Like,
Okay.
I'd love to sit for even 15 minutes and actually get down to the issues.
Arthur is controlling. Arthur is verbally abusive in some way.
Verbally abusive.
Verbally abusive, or at least
A mind effer.
Yeah.
Makes her feel not as good as she is.
Yeah.
But then he has a good side that no one else sees.
I used to say that about my ex, like, who mind effed me for a long time, and he's the one that slept with my friends. So,
so
hope
sweet.
you're watching.
Folks, we don't have Nicole on here to host. We have her for a focus group.
Yes.
But you know, it's tough because, like you guys were saying last week, we didn't see anything, and I wish we saw what happened in the restaurant too when they walked into Kitchen Cabaret, which I've been to, and. But did you think that was staged when the producer came over and was like, "Wait, what was that?"
I was
him?
so confused by that scene.
Let me say this about that scene and Arthur in general. That scene was partially staged last week because we didn't get a shot, and we should get a shot, but they probably couldn't film inside, or there was some other issue, whatever it was. Or if it wasn't staged, it wasn't nearly to the drama that they thought it was. The other thing is, Arthur is, the way that they're portraying him and the way that he seemed without really spending a lot of time on camera, he would have to be a special kind of individual to sign up for that portrayal willingly, to say, I'll play this role, because that's a terrible role to play. So some tells me that's the way that he is.
I think it's definitely real. I don't think they're making up that he's like a total jerk, because the way they speak about it sounds like they've known it for a long time. Like this isn't just a new idea that came into their head.
He scared me.
Oh yeah, but
you can just tell.
I just don't get the transition of him walking up and being like, "Are you effing kidding me?" Like I don't get why he immediately knew
I thought
that.
he said that because he was like aware that they were talking about him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the conclusion we came to.
How did he hear him?
He just knows.
Knew. I would know too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is it a Long Island thing?
No. I'm saying if your wife is like crying over you and you have all these problems and they're shooting and you're not supposed to be in the scene, but let's say Kitchen Cabaret is near them, it probably is. Like it was just an easy place to put them, and maybe he didn't even know where she was that day and like didn't know that she was shooting, and then he was like, "Are you fucking kidding? You're totally talking about me in this scene."
Here's what I will say. Okay, so right, Hurricane Arthur. The fact that your son, Max, can't even tell the
Are you talking
distinction.
about the real guy?
No, wait, Max isn't his son.
No, Amy's son.
Amy's son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amy's son. The fact that Amy's son can't actually tell the difference of like, wait, are you saying a joke or you mean there is a hurricane?
A weather
Arthur?
event. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he says like, this isn't normal. Like, you should probably like. I understand he's a man-child, but listen to him.
When a 20-year-old who wears a tutu to go get ice cream tells you that your relationship is not normal, that's a signal. That's what I say about stuff. That's a sign. Like,
That's true.
And for him to say that, and then all the girls to say that, and then for Amy to think, even though the trip didn't happen, for Amy to think that she can fix the relationship on a trip.
Right.
The car didn't fix it. How is a trip
ignorance.
to the Bahamas gonna fix it?
Yeah, it'll fix it in the moment because it's fun. Like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, baby, this was definitely like, and then when you get back, all the problems that are there, whether financial,
They'll
whether
still
work,
be-
it's all there.
It kind of scares me for her though, because I feel like the way she was saying, the kids, they don't see what's behind the scenes; they just see the fighting and la la la.
That's
and it's
so
like
typical.
if they see so much of it, I mean, of course they're gonna think that. And it just seems like she has a warped view on him. Obviously, she has a warped view.
That's
on
what
him.
happens.
So I'm worried that it's like deeper than even what we can see. But I mean,
This is going to sound like a weird question, but I kind of think about this in the way that this affects the people who watch it. Because we watch it and joke about it and love to hate it alternately. But some people watching it, maybe some women watching this, are in similar relationships.
Totally.
Do you think they see this and say, holy shit, that's,
would hope
XYZ, maybe I need to get out. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like, I just wonder how this is going to affect women in relationships like this, seeing this on camera and saying, oh my God, that's me.
It's kind of like the Beverly Hills Housewives with the guy who it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I mean, ultimately, I think you have to dig at the truth. I mean, because I've seen a lot of times, like, you could say Dr. G sort of treats, if misinterpreted, that he treats Gail in this way. Why? Because he's not there and whatever else. But it's like, no, the guy just happens to be hardworking, and when they do get to spend time, it's different. And Gail, obviously, she would never say that. I'm trying to figure out a way to say it, but basically, I mean, but Amy's a cop to the fact that she's mistreated.
Yeah.
And even if it's slight, it's there.
And I don't want to speculate, and we don't want to take it to that next level, but you can only go on what you know, and what is being portrayed to us is not a good picture.
right.
So, I mean, let's be honest. Truth and beauty, right?
Exactly.
From beauty, that's it.
It all comes full circle.
oh, it's such a stupid name. I'm so sorry.
I'm glad we agree, because I was like looking at it, I was like, who the hell would market this?
And beauty from the woman who brought you secrets and wine.
This is,
And
okay.
anal cream.
I guess last question before we get into predictions and all that stuff for you guys. 2 episodes in, I believe this season is only going to get 5. They're kind of doing like a test season for it. I think it's only got 5 episodes.
Oh,
Last I saw,
that's depressing.
it may add a few more. Look it up, but the last I saw it was only 5.
Okay.
But question for you guys, totally loaded.
We're 20% almost there.
Is this not the best damn show you've ever seen?
Yeah,
It's so
pretty-
good.
honestly.
It's my favorite Bravo show for sure.
I have to say, when I watched the first episode, I had to rewatch it.
Totally.
Because not because I was like, yes, because I didn't get it at first. I was like, wait, who's what? What's who?
And there were too many
What? I was
blondes.
so confused. And then I sat and I watched it again. And then actually your review helped me like a little bit, believe it or not.
Yes.
And then I was like, this could potentially be amazing, especially for the people who love all the Housewives show, and especially for the fans on the East Coast, like the New Yorkers and the ones that just like know about this. They want to know more because there's more stories within their group than that are, I guess, realer than some of the
that are going to be a little
housewife
less
shows.
contrived. Huge negative. The 5 blonde women still kind of run together for me.
We had a
They all
pop
look
quiz
like
today.
They really do. But huge positive is the previous connection. All the connections between them and the husbands and the ex-husbands. And I know that they mention the ex-husbands and they can't say the names on camera, and I'm sure they didn't get releases and stuff. But I hope they dive a little bit more into the past, into those relationships.
Yeah.
Just so we can see how the girls flesh out with each other. Because, like, Weekend at Gurney's, this is fun, but, like, that fight, the Liza Susan thing, would have been so much more fun if I knew everything about the history.
Exactly.
You know, so
I think it just comes that they got to use less pronouns. Because they always keep saying she. I mean, granted, you have to say the ex-husband or whatever, but like we just need less pronouns.
And
at least for the women, like just say, "Hey, Andy said this," and as repetitive as it's going to be. Andy said this, and then Susan said that. Just say their names.
So, ladies, we have to ask you, because I asked this to Phil last time, and we gave our opinions. Favorite housewife or character? Favorite character on this show? Go.
I already know yours.
I have top 2. Like
Do it.
I like Liza and Jonathan.
Oh, that's my girl, Jonathan.
I love Jonathan. I'm telling you, I would get along with Jonathan.
Who wouldn't?
Very well.
Who wouldn't?
Oh, I would get along with him so well. He just reminds me of people I've worked for. I worked on Long Island for a long time, like 5 years. So I know those kind of men, and they're hysterical, and they'll ball bust you, and they're just like a good guy to drink with, and they're all pretty hefty drinkers, though. I mean,
For sure.
But I was gonna ask you if you've ever gotten a North Shore handshake before from a girl. Like
I'm
when you
sure
know you
I
have,
have,
when you
and
know
now
you
I'm
have
gonna
beef with
notice
a
it.
girl, and like you know you both like talk shit about each other. You're like, hey,
Did you know what she was
this
talking
dress, your
about?
hair looks so good. Did you get your eyebrows done? Like it's something like that where you just like throw a kiss and a compliment, and meanwhile in your mind you're like, you fucking bitch.
I'm sure I have, and now I'm going to notice it every
The
time.
Long Island girls, let me just say, even the ones that are our age to these women their age, once they grow boobs and once they get that first lip injection, they are just such bitches. They are like I remember one time I was in a club on Long Island, and a girl spilled a drink on me and went, are you kidding? And I was like, the drink's on me, girl. Like, they're just so, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what the word is besides bitchy, but they're
I like
very
them already.
entitled.
Well, okay, that is a real issue that keeps getting brought up by Susan, and I think we got the interstitial today or whatever it was, of like, it's really hard to raise kids in this area.
Rich,
And oh my
rich
gosh,
town.
their kids. I know, like, don't talk about the kids, but the scene
Oh,
with
talk about the kids.
Corey's kids, I wanted to just like smack them a little bit.
But I do
know.
like Liza's kid. I like her.
You know who
Oh,
else
I'm
likes
sure they're all
Liza's
great,
kid?
but,
Phil.
Phil loves her.
She was
And
kind
her
of cool
dress.
and collected. I liked her.
Yeah.
Her prom
Because she
dress
doesn't
was
want to be like
spiffy.
mom.
Yeah.
But I like mom.
And
I like
grandma,
Liza.
for God's sakes. Not much today. but
Grandma
that
needs
scene-
some.
Grandma needs to lay off the black eyeliner.
And the bronzer. It's like collected
Oh my
around
God,
her cheeks.
Graham.
Is that what is
Retarded.
preventing her from getting some?
Do you
Yes.
lay in bed with black eyeliner on? Like
Do
that?
I?
Do
No.
you,
You
April?
don't? On occasion.
On
no.
occasion with like, I was like, no. I just can't.
It's bad.
Here's the thing. Okay, I mean, I guess you get to a certain point. It's great to talk about with your mom the various issues, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. You guys tell me. Would that be awkward to be like your mom's not getting any?
I could never speak with my mom about anything sexual. Like when I have a kid, like I'll be like, oh, I don't know how it happened. That is not something.
Is
I
your
would
mom
do.
married?
Yes.
Okay, see, my mom is newly divorced. So I even with my dad, I'm hearing things that I don't want to hear, but for some reason they feel so open to tell me these things, and I'm like, I'm the youngest and the only girl, and it's like, really? Why are you talking to me about this? But they feel comfortable, but yeah, that was a little over the top. And they're all at dinner, and I thought the best parts was all like the outsiders, like seriously, like all the people listening in on their conversations. But that's Long Island. People are very open out there.
I like
This way and that way.
every
you know.
every day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day I alternate between, it's like a foreign country to me. So I really want to go there on Monday, but then on Tuesday I'm like, no, I'm scared of this place. And then on Wednesday I'm like, okay, I want to go there again. Because it's so crazy and it seems so stereotypical to me, but this is like the way that it is. I love this show. I'm sorry.
too.
This is like the guilty pleasure of the year. This is like better than, you know me and Kardashians. This is better than Kardashians because stuff happens on this show.
That's a critic review for the DVD right there.
I am all about this show. Phil, got a question for you.
Yes.
Do
I love dancing?
I hear you love to dance.
You know what? I would love to go to prom and dance with Liza. What?
No, go on.
Ryan. Ryan's her name, right?
Ryan. You know,
Even in the dress?
You know what?
She's barely 18.
She had a nice
You forgive her
butt.
already.
Whoa, she's
I think
18.
She looked hot.
I wish my butt
looked
looked
hot.
like that at 18, and I still wish my butt looked like that at 25.
Dr. G.
Dr.
I'll give you his number.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Before we, I'm gonna tell you guys about something, but I want to know the fashion show.
Yeah.
First
That
off, it's not a
was
fashion
outrageous.
show. Have you guys seen that? You've seen this?
Have I ever seen one of those kind of fashion shows before?
Yeah.
I don't
I'm gonna pass judgment and
The
say you've
fact,
probably
that,
seen
the fact
this.
that she has to
think
think about it is terrifying
I've
enough.
been in Long Island fashion shows. They have them all over the place, like for the most random things. But I've never seen a plastic surgery one, honestly. Like, and that's why I had to rewatch the episode. I was like, wait, what is this? I was so confused.
It seemed like such a joke because it's not like anyone in the audience was like, oh my gosh, her boobs look so great. I'm going to do mine too.
Well,
I mean,
I love
but if they
Liza.
weren't already thinking about
Laughing
it,
hysterically
everyone
the
was
whole
laughing
time.
the whole time.
I feel like it's almost like a negative because you're there. The way you get customers and acquisitions is from a standpoint of insecurity. Because eventually you will wear out the audience and be like, well, my boobs aren't like that. Should I have boobs that are like that?
No.
So
It was just weird. But if it works for him, then good for Dr.
I
G,
just
I
hope
guess.
wait, oh my God. I wanted to say this and I feel bad saying it, but I have to. Did you see in the scene, and this is gonna make me sound like an asshole, but whatever, the two women behind them in the fashion show, and like Liza first walked in and said there was two women sitting behind. It's almost like they placed them there so that the two blondes looked better than the women behind them because they weren't
sure.
the
I
most
didn't, but now
attractive
I wanna go
women.
back.
You have to go back. I feel like such an ass, and I'm sorry, but it made me think like, whoa, like did they, sure, like they planned the fashion show for the business, but maybe was it for the show, and did they plant these people? And
Listen,
my head
Bravo-
went off when I saw
Bravo
these two
has
women.
this down to a science.
Yeah.
Every one of these shows. Because this is just essentially Real Housewives of Long Island with
Definitely.
the historic twist.
Right.
Bravo has this down to a science. They know everything.
By the way, speaking of kind of fashion show type stuff, Corey's right. It's Corey who had kind of her boobs pushed up a little bit,
Yes.
and everyone was
Busty, for
she,
sure.
She was, do you guys do that on purpurpose?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Has this turned into
Is
you
that like
asking
you
about
don't-
girls?
Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's the thing, because I
But
mean,
they
it's,
didn't need to be that pushed up. They didn't
No.
because the dress was when you're
Like,
wearing
what are
a
you trying to
maxi
communicate?
dress.
What
Here's
is
a
trying
little
to-
tip on dresses, guys. When you're wearing a maxi dress, your tits don't need to be pushed together.
No.
It's a summer dress. They should be natural.
Like what Liza wore, the way Liza's were, right?
yeah, but
normal.
hers aren't real,
Yeah,
so
I
they're
know,
going to
yeah.
stay up there. I don't know. Well, didn't Corey say that her boobs weren't real? What did she say in the text
one of them
messages
is
from
real.
No.
last-
Corey said hers were fake, but Liza said hers were real. But
No,
that's
they're
obviously
not
a lie.
real.
Right.
Yeah, they're obviously not.
No,
Yeah.
and I hate when men don't know the difference.
Oh, no.
It makes me so angry.
We
I'm
know.
like, guys,
We know.
come on.
We
Come
know.
on. Even with the ass stuff, too. It's like, you should know a fake ass from a real ass.
Oh, yeah.
real
Am I
talk.
supposed to say that? Sorry.
You can. It's not always purposeful. Like if they just look a certain way in a dress and they look a certain way, but you want them to always be, as
So what was Corey trying to communicate?
she wanted to look hot.
Okay.
I think
It's
she
as
is
simple
hot.
as that?
I
I
think
think
she's
she
one
is
of the
too.
hotter ones.
She is.
I think Amy's the prettiest, though.
B,
I
she's
think
naturally.
Andy's so pretty.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
has really pretty eyes.
Yeah.
Speaking of, if we're gonna nitpick, this is like the
Let's
nitpick
do it,
section.
because
This
the
is-
girls are here now, so we can...
No.
She's
Gail's bra was coming off when she got
No,
up.
guys, it was
It's
her
a
tag.
It was a tag.
It was
It was a tag. It looked like a bra.
God forbid her tag was out. Oh my
was a
God.
tag.
She's probably hating herself right now that her
I
tag
mean,
was
yeah,
out on
yeah.
television.
She is.
She's going to be really upset.
Especially the fact that I
Because that
pointed
girl
out.
has her shit together. and she's going to be really upset.
So apparently we're doing two things here on Secrets and Wives, and that is, I forget the first one now because we've been talking about girls so much. Oh, right. We talk about the show, but we also answer your questions about girls. So ladies, I guess you're our focus group for all of Phil's questions about
There we
fashion,
go.
and yeah.
We'll
There
ask
you go.
y'all questions soon.
By the way, I imagine girls like dancing, right? I know Maria Menounos, our founder here at AFTERBUZZ TV, but also e-host, years ago, and I was actually a part of this since the very beginning. She did a thing called Dance Battle, where it was like an social media movement, and she challenged people to do a dance-off against her and her friends. And we did these videos, and Julianne Hough and the Huffs kind of picked up on it. And then it spread and spread. Amber Riley's done them, Kate Hudson, so on and so forth. And now it's a show on ABC.
Awesome.
It's coming. And by the way, you get to participate. You as fans have made it kind of successful. Now we're taking it to the next level, where if you go to dancebattleamericacasting.com,
It's a big one.
submit your videos, and you could be on national television dancing.
Hey, we looked this up. Nicole and I looked this up. I don't remember what the other songs were, but I'm doing Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
Oh, I can't wait.
Can you mention to everyone you don't have to be a professor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very much so. This is
People are probably thinking like, "Oh gosh, like it's like America's
this is
Dance
not
Room times 10." Like,
No, not at all. This is
don't.
not Dancing with the Stars. This is not any of those shows. This is literally just, honestly, I want to submit us.
Yo, yeah,
We're
for
gonna
sure.
come
I love
We're
good
gonna-
vibrations, though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you could throw it way back. Way
I don't know,
old
man.
school.
Shake It Off.
We could do
Come
all.
on.
We'll just
Oh,
wear
come
wigs
on.
and
That's
we'll
like
do all
kind
of
of
them.
cliche.
What are you talking about? I'm not from Long Island.
I'm not either. I went to school there. I'm from Jersey.
I'm not-
Get it right. Get it right, man.
All right. Anyway,
DanceBattleAmericaCasting.com.
There you
Hashtag
go.
Dance
Yes.
Battle ABC.
With that, unless we have any more questions for the women, Phil.
we'll do a
Ask
pair-
us
we'll
one
do a
more
pair-
question.
Oh, I know.
But it has to pertain to the secrets of
Okay,
life.
actually, I have a question about the Secret Squad. A legitimate one. The last one that I want to ask you guys, and maybe women at home watching this too. These women, especially that dinner they went to, they're not dressing up for men or the scene. They're dressing up to compare to each other, correct?
Well,
Yes.
you always want to look good, even if it's just you and your friends. So, I mean, it's not like I'm sure it is a sense of a competition thing, but if I'm going to dinner with my friends, I'm definitely going to dress up.
What's
I'm
up
not
with
just
it all
gonna-
is changing? Like, here's the thing. Like, if you're gonna go downstairs, why you gotta change again?
Oh, I didn't get that. I mean, maybe they've been in the
I
car
get-
for a long time. She wanted to feel fresh, but I thought she looked good still. Talking about Gail?
I'm talking about
when you
all.
have money and you have options,
You got to put
why
it all out
not?
there.
I mean, but I said that too. Like when we were watching, I was like, why does she have to go change? She just got there, sit down and have a drink.
And they were already late.
Right. But I mean, there's something about girls putting on a cute outfit for dinner. Totally get that, but that wasn't even dinner, right? But she wore that outfit at dinner, right? Yes.
But here's the
She
thing.
wore it in the car there and then changed for dinner.
Did you think their outfits were similar?
I thought their outfits were similar. Here's the thing. The issue I have, I don't have an issue when you come, you change, but it's the fact that you guys went outside, and then you guys were already there, and we're about to go to dinner, and you have to change again.
That's a lot of changing.
That's a lot of changing, and not a lot of spending time together.
That's not necessarily real life. Like, girls don't always do that. Maybe, like, in the instance of we're on a TV show, we want to always look good. We have to, like, we want to look fresh and show our stuff.
But we'll do that if we go on vacation.
Oh, yeah,
We'll,
for
but
sure.
we'll start the day, like, in our bikinis, where if we're going to, like, a beach club or whatever the hell Gurney's is. And then we will change for dinner.
But
that
let's-
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Let's-
But they
Definitely.
got there at night, so that
Yeah.
didn't really make
Let's add
sense.
an addendum, though. These women will not be touching sand with bare feet.
No.
No way.
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay.
Well, we saw the scene with all the wedges and everything. They definitely, yeah, and then even in the the what is it called when you're just shooting street stuff?
B-roll.
B-roll.
B-roll. In the B-roll, there was just girls in wedges and shorts that were like younger than us. I don't know if
Right.
you caught that, but like girls on Long Island, they dress up and they wear a lot of thick eyebrow liner and black,
lots of liner.
just like so much liner. It's like crazy. It's crazy.
Last random comment of the night, then we do predictions. I forget who it was that was pumping the gas, but this is
Liza.
Liza.
This is
Oh my
not New
gosh.
Jersey. The only and
right.
apparently Oregon. I've met a lot of Jersey people, men and women, who don't know how to pump their own gas, and it still shocks me to this day.
I'm always
Liza,
like clicking. I can never really hold on to it.
Hashtag Stop Jersey 2015. Prediction time. Let's do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
The previews, they never
previews
really.
sucked.
I never.
Yeah.
Like.
The preview wasn't good. I don't know what's going on next episode. Truthfully.
I'm just gonna say I have a season prediction. I think we're gonna see a huge blow up from Jonathan at some point in the season, and I'm gonna love it. Well, hopefully if it gets extended, maybe not if it's just 5 episodes, but I feel like that's gonna be like a watch pot or whatever it's called that we have.
Boiling pot. I mean,
Yeah.
I do. You know what? I give Susan, and I don't know how pervy is to this stuff, but I give him credit for not blowing up of like, hey guys, enough about the ex-con thing.
Right. I feel like he kind of is like, yeah, I'm an ex-con, whatever.
I like that he's an ex-con.
I kind of do too.
Is that wrong?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
No, I'm kinda
I think
into
it gives him credibility as like the guy.
I like
Here's
how
the
they
thing.
They
Here's the thing.
dated
It's
while he was
okay.
in prison and then got married.
It's okay if you like that, as long as that's not your only qualification.
No, I mean, like, I don't personally look for that in a guy. I
Number
just,
one.
as him as John, it's one of the reasons I like Jonathan.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Jonathan. I want to have a scotch with Jonathan.
I predict that in about 2 weeks, I think next week the 4 of us will be back, and in 2 weeks you will be on Long Island
I'm going back in like a
in
couple
season
weeks.
2 of Secrets and Wives, starring Nicole.
Oh no.
I think you're a great fit for that show. You're gonna
Fake
enjoy
nails.
it.
I need to like increase my liner. I miss Long Island. I really do. I mean, I had a lot of fun there. I worked a lot in the Hamptons. I've served Andy from
Real
Bravo.
job or no job?
Real job. That's why I kind of like Susan the most. I love that she punches it in their face. It's funny, but it gets annoying. It does.
Are there normal people out there?
Negative.
Oh my
Amy
god! I
seems
have
kinda
so many
normal.
people who follow me from Long Island because I promoted in Long Island. I had to get people to come where I was working with guest lists, all that, whatever. So, no, I'm gonna say no. There's like a clan. These ladies are right there. They travel in groups there. And like especially when they go out, like the next hot spot, I bartended all over Long Island, and every place I was, there would be Johnny from Canada. Like they flock together, and it's right. Like things spread around there, and like it's a tight knit family out there. I mean, especially North, South Shore, whatever. But they're kind of right with that. And I guess my prediction, should I have one, is that. I feel like we're going to see something happen between Gail and Susan. I know there's the Susan Liza thing, but I think the brawl will happen between the two of them.
Interesting.
So too.
Yeah.
Cool.
I am so incredibly enamored with these women. I cannot even tell. Like, I'm being serious right now.
Let's
I love
get
this
them
show.
here.
Yeah.
We may not be solving
How can
world
we
hunger,
persuade
but we're
them?
solving
Patron
something.
and Grey Goose, that's
Yeah.
it.
We can bring Patron for
That
sure.
is
They got to come out to
incredible.
LA soon.
Remember, guys, as we wrap this up today, regrettably, we do have to close it eventually. Hit subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. You can comment on YouTube. We had the live stream going. Comment all week. We'll be checking those. You can tweet us. Hey, Nicole, Twitter. Where can they find
my
you?
Twitter is at Nicole Brajer, and you can follow me on Instagram at Nicole Brajer and Facebook, and just stay in touch.
Everywhere. Y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant.
Here at AfterBuzz TV, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
You're not going to give your own?
The infamous Phil.
I don't check that.
Oh,
I am on Twitter at Bobby DeMuro. Again, guys, hit comments on YouTube and iTunes and all that good stuff. And podcast1.com to review us there, too. That's it this week. We'll see you next Tuesday, for more Secrets and Wives.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.